Hi everybody, today I'll be looking at the business model for World of Warplanes. If you saw my first video about Path of Exile, I'm going to be taking the same approach here. I'll be assessing the game in three major areas: fairness in play, content availability, and fairness in price. Now, fairness in play is essentially determining whether the game is pay to win. Content availability is how much of the game is available in the free base model, and fairness in price is somewhat subjective, but it's analyzing the real money stuff you can buy and determining whether the pricing strategy is reasonable or not. Alright, so World of Warplanes. It's a fairly complicated game in terms of how the in-game currency systems interact with each other. It's not exactly cut and dry. You have three main currencies: experience, credits, which are also known as silver, and gold. Experience, like in many other games, is something that you get from actually playing the game, but it's not necessarily used for a leveling system. It's actually used to advance through the tech tree. And so the way the game works is that in order to buy new planes or to purchase upgrades for your planes, you first have to research them before you can actually purchase them. And to research them costs experience. To purchase them then costs credits and gold, which I'll get into in a minute. So as you play the game, you earn experience after every match. And there are two different types of experience. There is standard experience and there's free experience. Standard experience is accumulated on a per plane basis, and that experience can only be used to research that specific plane. But 5% of all the standard experience that you earn then goes into a separate pool called free experience, and free experience can be used on any plane in the game. And as if it weren't complicated enough, you can actually exchange standard experience to free experience using gold, which is the real money currency, and I'll talk about that a little more in the gold section. The next currency is credits, otherwise known as silver. Now, credits are just like experience in that you earn them just by playing the game. And credits can be used to buy almost everything in the game, from planes to upgrades to ammo to consumables. But generally, in order to purchase something with credits, you first have to research it by using experience. And sort of like experience, but in a less complicated way, you can also exchange gold for credits. And last but not least is gold. Gold is the real money currency. It can be used for nearly everything in the game. As I just mentioned, it can be exchanged for silver, or on a very limited basis it can be exchanged for experience. And the way that works is that you can take standard experience, which, as I mentioned earlier, is the experience that you earn on a plane by plane basis, and you can pay some sort of fee or penalty to exchange a certain amount of that standard experience to free experience. So in effect, you can move some of the experience you've earned on one plane to another plane by paying a gold fee. And beyond that, you can also purchase premium aircraft. Premium aircraft are planes which require no upgrades. They come fully upgraded, and you can only buy them with gold. Alright, so now that we've talked about an overview of the game's economy, let's talk about how the economy sort of interacts with the game. Let's talk about whether the game is fair. So admittedly, I haven't played a ton of this game. I'm probably, 4 hours into the game right now. But of course, my job is to be as objective as possible, so I've done a little research outside of actually playing the game. And what I've decided is that ultimately the game is fair. Now, my two reasons for saying that are essentially that you have to earn experience in order to research all of the upgrades and the new planes. And in order to get experience, you have to actually play the game. Now you're saying, well, hey, wait a minute, you just told me that I could purchase a premium aircraft for gold. Well, here comes the second part of the fairness equation. The game has a matchmaking system that separates people based on the aircraft that they're flying for that mission. And the matchmaking system puts people that are plus or minus one tier from each other in the same game. So you'll generally never get an instance where you're completely outgunned. Now, to be completely fair, at the time of this recording, I have heard some instances where people are sort of gaming the matchmaking system, and it's putting some planes that are a couple tiers above where they should be into some lower tiers. But honestly, as the player base grows, this is not going to be an issue. Alright, on to the second part of the evaluation: content availability. Well, the good news is that this game has no paywalls. The entire game is available to you for free. There are a couple things you can only buy with gold, and those would be the premium aircraft, but there are a ton of aircraft in the game that are there for free. Premium aircraft are there for the people who really enjoy the game and maybe see some value in spending a little real money on a new airplane and not having to upgrade it with all the tier upgrades, but the intra-tier upgrades are not huge upgrades, and so as long as the matchmaking system keeps all the tiers sort of together, it shouldn't be a big deal. Alright, now let's talk about whether the pricing model that World of Warplanes uses is fair. The first thing you'll notice when you go to the store is that it shares the same store as World of Tanks. That's because Wargaming.net makes both games. Wargaming.net has something called unified accounts, and that means that both World of Tank accounts and World of Warplanes accounts share currency, and if you choose to purchase the premium accounts, also shares the premium status across both games. You have three main categories of things that you can buy. You can buy pure gold, you can buy a premium account, and you can also buy straight up airplanes. They also have some bundles where you can buy gold and credits, or gold and a premium account together. So let's take a look at the premium accounts. You can buy in various increments from 1 day all the way up to a full year, and the price per day goes down significantly as you increase the amount of premium days that you're purchasing. It starts at about $1.69 a day for 1 day, and it goes down to almost a quarter a day for a full year. That's a decrease in 84% if you buy the longer period. Now what these premium accounts get you is 50% more experience and credits earned for every match. Now it's up to you to determine whether you think that you're going to be playing for a consistent period of time, and whether you can take advantage of the premium account. If you can't, your next best alternative is most likely gold. Gold can be bought in various increments starting at 1,250 all the way up to 25,000 units of gold. Your price per unit of gold also decreases, but not as much as with the premium accounts. When you buy 1,250, you pay about $5.56 per 1,000 gold, and when you buy the maximum 25,000 units of gold, you pay just under $4 for every 1,000. That's a decrease of just 28%. One of the bundles you can buy is gold and credits. Now I've already done the math here, and if you exchange the credits into gold, which is a 400-to-1 exchange rate, you can sort of figure out what the better deal is, whether you should buy pure gold or whether you should buy this bundle. And the better deal is always going to be buying the bundle unless you want a discrete amount of gold as is sold in the gold store. So the key in determining what, if anything, you want to buy from the World of Warplanes store is whether you think you're going to be able to dedicate some specific time to this game. So if you buy a 14-day premium account, you better play for that 14 days to get your money's worth. If you think you're going to be kind of spotty in your playtime, just buy some gold or buy one of the bundles. So now that we've talked about the game store and how the in-game currency sort of equates to real money, the key question is the pricing fair? Now, the only way to determine that is whether you would pay real money in order to avoid some of the grind that's in the game. Now, like I said before, I haven't played a lot of this game, so I don't know how much grind is in the top end of the game, but I can tell you that in the lower tiers, if you were to purchase gold from the gold store, and then exchange that gold into credits so you could buy a new plane, that plane would only cost you between $1 and $1.80, depending on which gold bundle you bought. And it seems to me that the true progression in this game is with experience. And as you earn experience, since you have to anyway because you need to research the planes, you're going to be earning credits as you go. So I would imagine that as you progress in the game and as you go up in tiers of the planes, you probably won't have enough credits all the time to buy a new plane whenever you're ready, but the business model that World of Warplanes has chosen is one that allows you to progress through experience, but when you get to the point where you need a new plane, you might be short some credits, and then you want to drop a few dollars to get that next plane without having to grind. And is the grind terrible? Well, I haven't been there, so I don't know, but I haven't read any reports that say the grind is ludicrous. So to avoid a small grind, pay a few bucks. That's an effective business model. Alright, so quickly wrapping up, is World of Warplanes a good free-to-play business model? And yeah, I think it's pretty good. The game itself is fair, whether you pay money or not. There's essentially some sort of gating via experience. And even if you spend a lot of money in the game so you don't have to grind out as many credits, the matchmaking system is still going to pair you with people of the same airplane tier. So you don't get a specific advantage from paying real money. All the content is also available in the free game, except for a couple of the premium aircraft, which, you know, I don't hate on them for making some exclusive aircraft for paying customers. And the prices seem to be pretty fair based on the mechanics of the game. Alright, that's all I've got. I apologize if I missed anything. Please let me know if I did. I took as deep of a look into this game as I possibly could. It didn't really grab my attention, so I wasn't really into the game, but you know, I enjoyed the 4 hours or so that I actually played it. And I really enjoyed making this video even more. So if you like what you see, subscribe, like, and leave me any feedback in the comments below. Thanks a lot. See you next time.